The following is a conversation with Jason Singer, more well known as Michigander. He's been releasing music for close to a decade now and has a new album on the way. I had the pleasure of meeting Jason prior to the podcast on a short stay I had in Nashville, where he was kind enough to show me around for a little bit. In this podcast, we talk about mental health, music, switching labels, and just what it takes to be an artist in today's music climate. I hope you enjoyed the talk I had with Michigander. Okay, so excited to have Jason from Michigander, who is the lead singer, frontman of the band. And appreciate you being here and happy to have you on, man. How have things
Thanks.
been?
Good. It's good to see you.
Yeah, good to see you too. So I guess to kind of lead off, what would be 3 to 5-ish words that would describe your music to someone who's never listened to Michigander before?
That's a good question. Very hard soft rock, maybe.
Very, very hard soft
Very
rock.
heavy, very hard soft rock. That's 3 words. That's cool. I like that.
Yeah. So I guess in terms of kind of where you started, right? So growing up, what was the music that was on in your household? What were your parents listening to? What was the music that, made you want to make music yourself?
My parents didn't really listen to a ton of music, truthfully. We kind of just listened to Christian radio in my family. That's what my family listened to, which is probably still the same thing. They still play now, I bet. But I think the music that got me into the stuff that got me into music was I remember going to the local library and being like renting CDs and then ripping those CDs onto my Dell laptop, and that's what I would listen to. And that was Death Cab and John Mayer and Norah Jones and Oasis, U2, just whatever was on the end caps of the CD rentals at the library in the early 2000s. That's all I really had.
Yeah, I love that. So for me, growing up in a small area, we didn't even have CD rentals, so that concept is brand new to me. I was very much the LimeWire ripping music off the internet life.
Yes, absolutely.
So
I did that so much. I used to take the laptop to Tim Hortons because they didn't have Wi-Fi, and I would pirate music on LimeWire at Tim Hortons.
Yeah. Love it. I would spend hours literally just organizing my LimeWire, organizing how to get it onto the iPod. That was a solid part of my life back then.
I used to scan the CD covers to put into the library because I didn't have internet at home. So I would just scan it.
I love that. I was definitely not I was using whatever, the pirated stuff would come with ripped by whoever, and it would have their picture there. I was just using that.
So funny.
So I just want to also congratulate you on kind of your, signing with a new label.
Thanks,
that is
man.
huge. And so I guess how have things kind of been differently in terms of where you were at 6 months ago and now signing with the label? How have things been mentally, and how you doing there?
Yeah, I think 6 months ago, in from a professional standpoint, I felt like I was still working on this record that I'm about to put out, and I felt very not prepared. Or I thought I was, but I mean, there was still so much. Looking back 6 months ago, I didn't realize how much more work was going to go into it. Now that it's done, which is cool, that it's completely finished. But I think personally, 6 months ago, I started
really
experiencing anxiety for the first time in my ever in my life, and I'm 30. I just turned 32, and so that was a whole thing. I think when you and I hung out in Nashville earlier this year, I was like, this is the worst. I'm what's up, dude? Nice to meet you. I'm dying. And now I feel I sort of feel like I'm on the coming out of that, and I've gotten the help I've needed through various things. Yeah, it's interesting because I feel like as I'm wrapping up the album, I'm also coming out of this fog I've been in for 6 months, 6, 7 months.
Yeah. Yeah, it's funny how anxiety can do that. Like I think I really first went through it probably like 6 years ago. I had like a very probably like a year-long bout where like it was kind of like that fog you talk of where it's you're not sure what's going on, you're not sure how to move forward from it.
Yeah.
It only as of recently, like honestly, has it been really a lot better for me, going to therapy and getting kind of the help, I think everybody kind of needs at some point in their lives. So yeah, I'm glad you're
Yeah.
kind of coming out of that and glad that life seems to be a little bit clearer at least because that makes all the difference.
It's so confusing when you first like experience like physical symptoms of anxiety. I don't know if you've ever had those, but like
Yes.
in my chest. Like I went to the emergency room because I thought I was having a heart attack, and I like went to the doctor multiple times, and they like ran all these tests, and like you're good, dude. And I was like, are you
Yeah.
sure? I don't know, but now I'm kind of like on meds and stuff, and figuring those out and adjusting to those, and that's been like wildly helpful.
Yeah. Yeah. It's funny how I went through the same things when I first had anxiety, like yeah, the same chest symptoms, the same like I think I'm dying pretty positive of this.
Yeah,
And the doctor's like, no, man, you're good. Like, no worries. I'm like, I'm
isn't that
pretty sure.
crazy?
It's a wild experience to say the
It's
least.
so weird. Yeah, it's so bizarre to like. I don't know. It is. Even now, I'm still like trying to like cope with the like is like the little bouts of it that pop up. It's still something I'm like trying to like make sure I'm okay kind of thing. Even
Right.
though I know I'm probably good. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
strange.
So in terms of musicians, right, do you think there's like enough resources out there for artists and musicians going through like mental health issues? Do you think there's enough at hand or could be
That's a
more?
good question. I think there's always could be more for sure. I think there are some good resources. I don't know like the thing about like musicians is there's so many different levels of musicians. There's like people like that are like I'm a full-time rock star and like I play arenas and all that stuff. And that's like one
Mhm.
level of stuff. And then there's just so many levels. There's like people who are like weekend warriors. There's people like me who are like kind of like just getting by doing it. Probably should have another job, but don't have time or like I don't have the time to do it. And so that is I think at different levels it's hard to like for these organizations to maybe like help with people or help people and help musicians. But it seems to be there are a good amount of resources. I know Music Cares, which is kind of
Mm.
sponsored by the Recording Academy. They help
Neat.
a lot, and they will help with like paying bills and like getting you connected with people. And a lot of festivals now are like offering like free therapy at the festival. And I know it's not like
Oh,
someone you're gonna be with regularly, but when we were at Austin City Limits, there was like a therapist booth in the artist village. So if you were like going through it, you could be like, I just need to talk to somebody. And I think talking about it, I mean, even when you and I hung out and we talked about it, like that was so helpful for me just to like vocalize how I'm feeling and vocalize like like vocalize how terrible things can feel and be, and realizing that you're not the only one doing it. I work with a organization called Porter's Call here in Nashville, and they offer like counseling and therapy only to musicians. And that's
nice.
like one of the cool parts of like living here is like there's so many musicians here in Nashville, and so there's like a need for that. And so I am very fortunate to get to have a guy there, Chad, who I talk with regularly, and they have like groups of musicians, tons of different levels too. And I like go to a group thing too once a month, and it's been really, really life changing.
Yeah, that sounds amazing, honestly, to be able to
Yeah.
have that group and that community. Because you're
Mm-hmm.
right, like being able to talk to even one other person about it makes you feel so much better and so much like you're not in this alone. And literally everybody goes through it. And once you have that
Yeah.
that realization that literally everybody goes through it, it's a little easier for sure.
Totally. Big agree.
So, kind of on that same note, what do you find to be the most like draining part of, or the most uplifting part? We'll do kind of both of being an artist.
I think for me, it's both the same thing as both things. I think I was just talking to somebody about this yesterday. It's like touring is, for me at least, is like the most rewarding and exhausting part of being a musician. Now that people are like, there are so many years where no one was coming to my shows, but we were still doing them. And they were still amazing, you know? Like, it was still, like, we're in Boise, Idaho, and we're playing to 15 people. 15 people came to see my band play in Boise, Idaho. It's like, or like 50 people came to see my band play in Berlin. And it's like, that's amazing. That is so exciting. At the same time, it's like, you're on the road and away from your routines and your family and your friends, and like your normal life you're so far from that for so long. Like last year, we did a 7-week run, which is the longest run I've ever been on, and we left a few days before Halloween and got home a few days before Christmas. And so like we spent Thanksgiving on the road in New Jersey in like a hotel of the Target parking lot, and like had Thanksgiving at IHOP, and like those moments like that, not necessarily that day was like very hard, but like that's like really hard to be on the road. Like for like, especially like we're not in a bus, we're in like in a Sprinter van. I think a lot of people think it's like glamorous, but like we load all our gear into a venue after driving 3 to 8 hours, set up, play a show, tear it all down, and go sleep in a hotel for like 6-7 hours, and then do it all again the next day. And we're not making bank either, so it's like it's not like
Right.
it's financially very rewarding, but it is. But at the same time, it's like that is the coolest part. It's like we get to be in a room with other human beings and have that connection with people. And like the way the internet is like that is kind of there. It's like a pseudo version of it, but like I feel very fortunate to be like in a room, like physically with somebody, you know, like, and like hanging out with them is like so special, you know, like it's cool.
Yeah, I get it.
I love
like
that.
I think for me, I'm kind of like in a very, very, very small scale of that, like where I go to shows and somebody's like randomly recognizes me as a person, and it's a very odd feeling, and makes me still feel like, you know, I'm doing the right thing and kind of making somewhat of a difference, and that at the end of the day, that's all that matters for me. But yeah, I think I couldn't imagine being away from family and normal routine, because I am so steeped in routine that being away for like 7 weeks at a time would be absolutely anxiety inducing for sure. I don't think I know how to operate as a human, even in the switch from going, you know, having a full-time job and then this turning into a full-time job. Like the amount of time it took me to build a new routine was inherently way too long probably, but finally there, and finally like in a routine to where it feels like I'm still valuable as a person, because I was so conditioned for this, like, you know, 40, 50, 60 hour work week that I was doing, to where now it doesn't feel like, you know, you're accomplishing 40 hours of work but still providing some type of value, I guess.
Isn't that weird? Like the freelancer self-employed life. I don't think people
very,
talk
very
about that
odd.
as much, because you feel like you constantly have to be doing something.
100%. And me, so growing up in a family that, you know, my dad worked all the time, my mom worked all the time, and, you know, it's very much ingrained in you that you should be doing that as well, despite having gone to college and all that. It's very much ingrained in you. And I come from a very blue collar area where, again, people are working 60, 70 hours a week, and it's, when you're not doing that, you're just very critical of yourself, in the sense that, like,
totally,
am I really, like, am I being a dirtbag right now because I'm not doing that? So overcoming that is probably it has to be the hardest part of doing this freelance and kind of working for yourself. It absolutely has to be the hardest part.
It is weird. I think about all the time, because like like last week was super busy for me, and this week is kind of light, which is nice. But it's always. But then like I'll go on tour and I'll be like on the clock for 24/7. You know, so it's just kind of finding those balances, and also being like, I feel like you and I are similar, where we have to be doing something in order to like feel like what you said, like the value of your life. And if you're not doing it, you feel like just like a piece of crap. But I'm trying. I'm really. That's a huge thing lately. Is just trying to be like, I don't have to do anything today. I can play video games. That's cool. I need to do that because everything else is so demanding.
Yeah, I honestly I'm proud of you for doing that because like I still haven't yet to be able to do that. Even if I
Yeah,
try to sit for a half a day, I'm like, I don't know, man. You probably should be doing something.
you should be. All yeah. I always feel that way too. It's. I'm glad I'm not the only one.
Yeah. So kind of going back to that in terms of so social media is such a like on all the time type of thing. As an artist, does that ever become too much, or do you view social media as an overall good, or kind of a necessary evil?
It's a good question. I think that we're too far in now to like vilify it. I think it's like we have to figure out how to be friends with it. And I have learned that the more I enjoy being on the internet, the like especially like social media, is like I just want to be like the truest version of myself on there. So like if I'm feeling like shit, I don't know if I could cuss. Sorry.
You're fine.
If I'm feeling horrible, I don't want to. I don't want to like pretend I'm not. So like if something's wrong, I'm just gonna make a post about it. And usually that is not only helpful for me to like get that out there and to people that are like looking at what I'm doing, but also it's helpful for people who are also like really struggling. Like when I went to the emergency room earlier this year, like I posted like I'm in the emergency room and like I thought I was dying kind of situation. And I got like so many messages. I think you messaged me, but like so many people like reached out and were like, yo, that's really common. I feel that way too. Or like, here's what worked for me. Or like, I also feel that way. Thanks for sharing. And it was like, that is beautiful. Because like, I mean, I don't know how many people saw, like hundreds to thousands of people saw that. And were like, oh man, that dude is just the same as me. And like, that is what I think that's important to know is like, we're all just human beings and we're all just struggling and we're all just trying to get through things and have a good time while doing it. But knowing that everybody has similar struggles, I think that kind of like unites us as people, which is cool.
Yeah. It's very easy to get lost in the negativity that social media can be sometimes.
Totally.
Like I went through this probably when I was probably like 4 months into doing TikTok, and I got kind of roasted for a take I had on some music on this like Tiny Desk concert that I really enjoyed. Hobo Johnson, like
love that one. I'll be honest.
Me too. I loved it, and I got absolutely like roasted online for it to the point where I'm like, I don't know if I could do this. Like I literally was like, maybe I'll just stop because that was probably the hardest hate I had gotten to that point. But even to turn it around, like I started to really focus on the positive comments, and then I made a post, probably 2 years ago, roughly 2 years ago, about kind of like the same thing you did, where struggling mentally, and shared a story about a really dark time, and everybody was so kind and so supportive and understanding of the situation, and very warm, and it really changed my mind about it, and to the point now where like I really do want to share all those times I'm struggling, because you're right, you never know if someone's also going through it and it helps them, or if you could just make that difference in one person's day. I feel like I've done good enough.
Totally. I totally agree. It's weird, but I feel like the more honest you are online, I think that's good. I also think it's important to call out people's bogus, like stuff too. Like there's like a fine line of being like just crazy political things that people believe and say on there. I'm just like, man, that sucks. So don't say that. Like I think that's important too. I mean I get a lot of I feel like I get a good amount of like DMs or comments like whenever I make some kind of pseudo political statement, I get a good amount of like, you stick to the music, buddy. I'm gonna unfollow you. I'm like, I don't care at all. I really don't care. Like, I would rather just be unapologetically me than try to be someone different just to make a guy buy a T-shirt for my show. Like, I don't care.
Right.
Yeah.
That's very, again, like super proud of you there, because I struggle with that myself. So I live in a very, very, very conservative area, to say the least. You know, rural Pennsylvania is exactly what you would expect it to be in terms of its politics. So it's very, I've always like walked this line of not trying to get too deep into it, because I feel like I'll never change anybody's mind on such things. But you're right, maybe being just yourself is a little more free and a little more, you don't have to worry about it as much, I guess.
Yeah, it is. The older I get and the more I don't care about what people really think, and I'm just trying to like make stuff that I'm proud of and be someone I'm proud of. And I think that would make the younger version of me most proud of me. Yeah. That's a good quote.
That's cut it, clip it.
Cut it, clip it.
Let's do it. So, have things been? So you're signed with a new label,
30 Tigers.
30 Tigers, right? So, have things been easier now that you're with that label? So were you with the label prior, or were you just fully?
Yeah, I've been with the label. I've been with the label for like the last good amount of time. So there's no, as far as like easier go. The last label was really great. This label is very great. So there's no like, I don't have any like qualms against either one of them. Right. Good people at both. Just the time to move on to something new. And so far it's been awesome. We're I don't know when this will come out, but new music comes out in August, which is exciting. And then a bunch more music by the end of the year, and some more next year. So it's like, that is exciting because this is my first full-length album, and that's been a challenge in itself to get together 12 songs that I really believe in that cohesively go together. Like in the past, I've only done EPs, which is like 5 to 6 songs. I think 6 is the most I've ever put out at once. And I mean, I wrote 50 songs for this 12-song record, so there's only 12 of them that like made the cut. So I think it's the best of the best out of what I've made over the last 2 or 3 years, and that's really exciting. And that's it feels really cool to have like, not that I didn't have this before, but it just feels really exciting to have people like in my corner who are excited about like what I'm doing and are like all about like my vision of what I want to do, which is a little trickier because I have to be sure of like what is my vision and like know exactly what it is I want to do. And so that has been a little more like on my plate, and being like, I need to be like sure of myself, because I don't like, they trust me, so I need to trust myself. And that's been a little strange, but in a good way. And I'm really excited to like continue the musical journey with them, because it's been very cool.
Yeah. So you said you had 50 songs and you've narrowed it to 12. So
yeah.
What does that process look like, and when do you know, even when you're working on one song, when do you know like a song is, quote unquote finished, like ready to be picked or not picked for an album?
Yeah, that's a good question. I think I wrote like a whole album and I was like, this is what I feel like is good. These songs kind of go together. These songs kind of fit in the same world sonically and thematically. And then my manager, who I love, he was like, hey, I don't think you have, he said this like end of last year. He was like, I think you need to write some more. And I was like kind of pissed off at first. I was like, how dare you? But then I thought about it after a day, and I was like, why would I be mad at somebody for telling me to do more of the thing that I love doing? And so I was like, yeah, I have no problem writing more songs. And I'm really glad he said that to me, and I'm really glad I did that, because probably 4 of the songs that I wrote after that conversation are the songs that are, or 3 of them are like the singles.
Yes.
And that is that those are like the best songs in the album. So I'm glad I got pushed a little bit instead of pushing back on that.
Isn't it funny how sometimes we're so, sure on what, we think our vision is and what we think, is good, and then it takes one person or, somebody you trust to be like,
Yeah.
maybe not, and then you can kind of produce some better things from it. I always think that's funny, just how we can our mind will kind of limit us to what we think versus what, maybe just a little bit of an outside perspective.
Yeah, it's important to have those people in your life that will shoot straight with you, but also it's important to be like confident in what you're doing. And there's also like a fine line between those things, because some people just like to like have an opinion to have an opinion. Some people just want to give like a mixed note on our song and be like, "Can you turn down that hi-hat?" And you're like, "Dude, I don't need to do that. That doesn't affect the song at all." So there, just stuff like that is like, it's just discerning what is good or what you want to take in, like hearing all the opinions and being like, these ones seem valuable to me and these are ones I agree with. But yeah, I don't know. No one is 100% right. And no one. These are all just opinions that you're getting from people, and that can be good and that can be bad. Because sometimes people can be like, "This is the best song you've ever made." And you're like, "Heck yeah, let's take it to radio," and no one cares about it.
Right.
And so it's hard. It's just a hard line, and no one's. And that's not blaming anybody. It's just no one is certain of anything, and it's a weird business and game to play.
So, what does that process look like going to radio? Is it something you like pick a couple songs off the album, you're like, or the singles, and you're like, hey, I think these would be good enough to be on the radio, and then they're like, yeah or nah?
Well, I don't really pick that because I am not smart enough to do that, and it's expensive. So I let someone else pick that. But like, I kind of know like the songs that are like gonna be the single or like the song, like, and then if everybody agrees and they're like, okay, there's like somebody who pitches the songs to all these stations and program directors around the country, and then we get them on to spin it or put them in rotation, and we go and do stuff for these radio stations, and we go in studio interviews and play songs and we do all this stuff for the station, so they will in turn do something for us, and by that I mean play the song regularly. And it's kind of like an expensive game to play, really, but it is beneficial because usually people, like, I've had a lot of made a lot of really good friends at radio, and so many program directors and stations around the country are like huge champions of what I do, and like are why I have so much success in certain markets. Like Minneapolis is like so much love to the Current up there for like caring about me and like spinning my tunes for as long as I can remember. Like Chicago and Boise and Austin. There's all places where like people are like, there's so many more. I don't want to leave anybody out, but like there's in like Baltimore, there's like so many places where people like really care and they're like pushing the music out. Similar to like what you do. Like you know, like when there's an artist you care about, you want other people to care about them, so you put it out there, and like that can. It's like this. It's the same thing. It's like people who have a platform using their platform to spread good tunes, and it's so helpful for artists. I don't think people realize that all the time either. It's like I realize like people kind of like, I'm always trying to like hype up my friends' bands and artists that I believe in on my socials, because I know like I don't have a huge platform, but I know some people are watching what I'm doing, and maybe they'll check out my friend Dylan Grantham, Young Ritual. Maybe they'll go listen to his song Wild Child, and maybe they'll love it, and maybe they'll go see his show and buy a ticket and buy a T-shirt and like support him, all because of an Instagram story, you know. So I always am trying to do that, and it's like the same thing with radio. It's like maybe someone will hear that song on a radio station in Phoenix, Arizona, and then they'll buy a ticket to the show, and they'll bring a girlfriend, and they'll fall in love, and they'll buy a T-shirt, and then they'll send me a DM years later. That's why they got married. That would be great. That's happened.
Heartwarming stories. That's amazing. It's always mind blowing to me too. Like I'll get random messages from people like, you put me onto this artist and like they're my favorite artist. I went to like 4 of their shows. Like it's the best thing I ever happened. Like the amount of unnoticeable influence that you could have is it's kind of wild sometimes when you get those messages. Like even like you said, like to hear that kind of story is
it's crazy.
Makes it all worthwhile.
Totally.
Was there ever a point in so you've been a musician now for a little over a decade, is that correct? Like you've been doing Michigander for
2014
okay.
is when I started. So about a decade of Michigander. I graduated high school in 2011, and then all my friends were going off to college, and I was like, I just want to do music. I'm going to figure that out. And so for years, I just played in bars and breweries and coffee shops and frozen yogurt shops just for like 3 hours doing covers of like anything. John Mayer, Coldplay, Oasis, whatever I knew I could like do a cover of. And I'd just play these songs for whether it be like $50 or $300, whatever it would be. Every weekend, I would just play music out and like carry around a PA and do that. And it was very, not degrading, but it was very depressing because they're just like playing these cover songs. But it's also like, I'm doing this and this is better than working, like, this is better than mowing lawns. But I am still, like, no one wants to hear me in the corner playing music while they're eating chicken wings or eating froyo. But, like, that's just what I did for so long. And then eventually started, like, writing my own tunes and, like, playing my own little shows, opening for other little local artists or whatever it was, open mic nights, and eventually just kind of like snowballed into that. And then I was like, oh, I should name this something. And so I called it Michigander in 2014. And that's kind of when things started like moving in a more sustainable direction. Yeah. So about 10 years. 10 years into
was there ever a point in there where you were like, you know, maybe being an artist or an artist full time isn't going to work out, or
absolutely, yeah. I still think that all the time. Like a couple weeks ago, I played to like 8,000 people at Bonnaroo, and it was amazing. It was a huge show. And then like even this week, I'm like, man, should I figure out something else, or like, what if this record doesn't like make an impact? Then maybe I will. I don't know. Maybe I will do another job, or maybe I don't know. I always think that I don't know if that ever will go away. Truthfully.
Yeah, I think so. In a different way, I think that like almost just goes back to that freelancer thing where you're just always worried that the next thing isn't going to work out the way you wanted to, and it's going to result in you like having to revert back to things, and it's definitely scary.
It is like a weird. It is weird, kind of being so certain of something, but at the same time feeling so uncertain of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's strange.
Yeah, I always like everybody asks me, at least around here, friends, family, like if you know I would go back to what I was doing prior, and like there's a point of me now where like I don't think I could. I would have to. Like this has been so rewarding in so many ways for me. I would have to find some kind of, you know, spot in music, I think, if I were to do like an actual non-freelance job at this point. Yeah.
Well, I think you're very good at your job, and I'm a big fan of yours.
I appreciate that. Really.
Keep doing it. Yeah.
It means a lot. So one of the favorite questions I like asking, you know, kind of anybody who makes music is the song you're most proud of, not necessarily your most popular song or you know, the most viral song, but just one that you made and you know you feel really good about and you're proud of.
As far as like release songs, I'll just do that instead of unreleased songs. But the song I'm most proud of is It's called East Chicago, Indiana, and I wrote that song strictly like I made my first EP, and I was thinking like I wanted every song on here to be like a 3 to 4 minute quote unquote single. I wanted to approach every song as if it's like a single that could be on the radio. And then I was like, except the last song, I'm just gonna make this song just for me. I don't think everybody's gonna like really love it, but it'd be a cool way to close an album. And I was like, this song just for me, like that's what I'm doing. And I didn't really think anybody would connect with it that much. But in hindsight, it's the most streamed song on that EP. It's like one of my most popular songs, one of my most requested songs. It's not like a radio tune by any means, but like people really connect with that song for some reason, and it's always like such a good reminder to me that it's like just be yourself and do what you do for yourself, and like that's what people want. As far as artistry goes, it's like people want like the truest, rawest version of the artist. Like that's what I'm most excited about when I hear someone. I don't want like a flashy thing all the time. Like that's fun, but like I just want the realest thing, and it doesn't have to sound perfect. It doesn't have to like be perfect, but like for some reason that's what connects the best with folks, and that's always that's a huge reminder to me. Like I always have that in the back of my head. Is like that song that you didn't think people were gonna like is like one of your most popular songs. So like just follow your gut and do something for yourself that makes you excited. I think that is why I'm most proud of that song. Because even my friends were like, "Man, that's okay, man. It's whatever." And now like they told me recently, like, "Remember when I didn't like that song?" I was like, "Yeah, that's fair." I heard an interview recently with I think it was Andy Richter, maybe Conan O'Brien's old co-host, and he was on a podcast, and he was talking about how he saw Led Zeppelin play years and years and years ago, and they were like, "We're gonna play a new song tonight, and it's called Stairway to Heaven." And they debuted it live, and he's like, everybody was like out getting beer and going to the bathroom during that song when they like played it live. But obviously, in hindsight, that I'm not comparing my song to Stairway to Heaven by any means, but it's just like people don't always know the first time they hear something. There are plenty of artists that I didn't love the first time I heard a song. Like in 1975, I did not like that band at all. I hated that band. And now I'm like, oh, I was so wrong about that. They're great. They're a great band. And there's countless examples of that for me. And so I just think like let the artist do what they want to do, and usually that's when the magic happens.
Yeah. I had a very similar like experience with my now love of Mac Miller. So I had the opportunity, I was in college still. He came to our university to play, and he was still smaller at the time, and I think he had just released Kids, and so everybody was like, there were a few people that I knew that were really into it, and like I just couldn't get into it, and I wasn't a fan whatsoever. I was like, I wasn't really into it, and then 10 years later now, like I love Mac's stuff, and
that's so weird.
Sometimes artists, just have to grow on you a little bit.
I think that is like so important to like knowing that your taste can change, and like you can like things you maybe didn't like before. That's a great sign of maturing and growing up.
Yeah, like I grew up on classic rock and I listened to a lot of like Metallica when I was a young teen, and not that I don't still enjoy them, but definitely my music taste has altered and grown and matured in different ways that version of Matt would never be able to comprehend it, I don't think. So
yeah,
it is funny how time can really change what you like and what you don't like, and how you see things and understand music. And
I kind of love being wrong now and like being proved wrong about like things like that. I'm just like, man, that's great. I don't care that I'm wrong. I'm glad that I was proved wrong, because now it's like something new for me to enjoy. And usually if a lot of people like something and you don't like it, you should give it some time and not shit talk it. Because I've been guilty of that for sure.
Yeah, it's very easy to be like, try to be, go against the grain on purpose with that kind of thing.
Yeah, totally.
You want to be the one person who said it was a good, and then, in hindsight, it actually was. What is, kind of in the same vein of the question before, what is a song or an artist that you think needs to be heard more? Give a shout out to somebody.
Besides my friend Dylan, who just released his song called Wild Child, Young Ritual is the band. The artist that I can't stop singing their praises because I just think she is like so good. And she is my friend, and it's very rare that a friend of I have like plenty of friends who make great music that I really enjoy, but for some reason, Abby Holiday, she's from Cincinnati but lives here in Nashville. We're good buds. We've toured together, and she just put out a new record. And I went to like a listening party the other day, and she is so good, and it's like really cool to like see her numbers grow, and like I feel like I've been like a day one supporter of hers, and I just like love what she's doing so much. Yeah, the whole world should know about Abby Holiday. Because they will eventually. Yeah.
What's a like a one or two song intro to her music?
Well, she has this new song. It's called The Price, and it's so good. And then like Sleeping Sculpture, that's on the new album too. That's really good too. I mean, like her most popular song is a song called Better by Now, and that song is perfect. But she's just so great. Abby Holiday with 2 L's in Holiday.
Got it.
Yeah, cannot recommend her enough.
Sick. Well, I'm gonna give you a chance. I know you got an album coming up, a tour coming up. Let's plug yourself here a second before we wrap up here.
I don't know when this is coming out, but new music in August. So that's soon. And then more new music. There's a lot of new music trickling out to the end of the year, and then a lot of new music in the top of the year. That's all I can say. But yeah, then we have a huge tour. We're playing with the Head and the Heart next month, and then we have a headline tour. We're hitting everywhere in the United States. So if you want to see a Michigander show, chances are we're going to be near you. So hope to see you at a gig.
Yeah, perfect. Well, again, I appreciate you taking time out of your day to chat for a little bit, and I'm definitely gonna catch you in Philly, and yeah, man, just appreciate the time.
Anytime, Matt. You're the best.
Appreciate it, man.
Yeah.